And intro.
Welcome to SithTalk, brought to you by Dat and Lany, bringing you news from Star Wars: The Old Republic and beyond. Join us now as we explore the universe and take down the Republic in a galaxy not so far away. And welcome to another exciting episode of Sith Talk. It took me a minute to unmute my microphone because Lanyard was making all kinds of crazy faces. And
Well, the intro because of the restart and everything with my computer, the intro music was superiorly quiet, and I was trying to find the volume for it, and I couldn't find it. So I was like, "Fuck it, it's halfway through." So sorry, it's quiet.
It's alright. It's only going to be on the video version for the audio people. I'll have all my digs in there just appropriately.
Right.
So, I mean, we had an interesting week. Not so much just in game, but in the world of Star Wars. There's been a lot of news. I had kind of a choppy week myself. I'll tell you guys about that a little bit in here, a little bit and a little bit here. Blah, 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 blah. Get my Porky Pig moment out while I can. But we got some new reviews. Of course, some people checking in with us on YouTube as we do every week. Some great new guild names of the week. And just want to make sure and throw out, because I'm really enjoying the book I bought this week from audibletrial.com/SithTalk. Get yourself a free 30 days of the Audible accounts. And, of course, you'll be able to, get a free book if you decide to sign on for $15 a month. You get a free book each month if you're really, big into audiobooks, as I'm starting to become. You can do $25 and do two tokens a month, and really $25 at that point, even $15 is fucking awesome. Because half of the books are like $20 to begin with,
or more,
$35 at least. And they're really, I mean, the prices are competitive, but for the price, it's not bad. I got Zombie Fallout. Lanyard knows, and most people do know, that I am a big zombie freak. I love zombie books, and I'm always looking for a new twist or a different angle. And I'm listening to this book, and I find myself laughing the entire time. Most zombie books are very serious and in your face about gruesomeness. And I told White Sword of Kevin, for those of you who listened to our early episodes, I actually felt like I was reading a book written by me.
Oh, nice.
Which is really a twisted thing, because the guy is so sarcastic, and he's got so many great quips as far as the main character goes. It's just a really good book. Actually went ahead and bought the second book without even thinking about it. So I'm into the second book of Zombie Fallout. And if you guys like zombie books, and I know this is the Sith Talk podcast, I should be reading Star Wars books. But if you like zombie books, man, definitely pick that one up. It's like, I think maybe 20 bones, but if you do it through the podcast
Through
URL,
us,
because you don't have the Audible program yet, you can get that book for free. Listen to it. I guarantee, at the very least, you will be laughing your ass off. And if you like that one, there's some great twists and turns so far in book 2. So definitely want to make sure you guys check that out. That's audibletrial.com/SithTalk, and I didn't fuck it up this week.
Yay! Where's my clapping? Where's my clapping?
Let's not talk about the
But
but we was it our buddy and guildmate Kiwi hopped in in our YouTube video for last week. And remember, I told you I couldn't remember that terrible tank's name, and it was Tukak, Tukakk, on the Imperial side of the Party of the Five server, and he was actually the terrible tank who had no common sense. We also had Mr. Dillon stopping in to say a nice job on the show, and our friend Star Wars Freak, who goes by several different names in our guild currently, stopped in, and he was actually excited. He could see that his character was on screen, and was hoping that let's see, he says, I wish I was on for the tune that I could use the Corvette, but Corvette, yeah, well, okay, Corvette, but of course I wasn't, LOL. And then Darth Sidious, which is a fairly new subscriber to our YouTube channel, said, "I forgot I have a 50 healer on the pub side, no gear, and I haven't used him, but I have a healer if you need one." So
bring them both.
We get a few more people, geared up or leveled up on that side of the server. We'll probably be doing some ops on that. I know Kiwi was intent on trying to get that done this week. He's actually going to be having some future scheduling conflicts, so it'll be interesting to see how we rework our normal throwing together ops on the weekends or middays. We also had a new iTunes review, which I'm always excited about. Jonathan Nola has titled his The Best Tour Podcast for Adults. He says, "I absolutely love these guys. They don't censor anything.
Fuck no.
From their language to their love of the game. Whether it's discussing what they did this week or the news in tour, they don't shy away from how they feel. Absolutely love the guild names of the week, LFG losers and winners, and of course the lore segment. So kudos to you there, Joe, and
awesome.
Possibly Sudo. No better way to get in the mood to play than to hear some great stories. I hope these guys keep going for many more episodes and never quit, unlike some other podcasts and hosts along the way." And I know exactly who you're talking about, and it is depressing to see some of them run away. But 'tis the way podcasting is.
That's all right. That just makes us number one.
or quickly moving towards. Me and Lanyard had kind of busy weeks in our personal life. I got a little bit of tour in. Lanyard, how about you, bud?
Not much. I had some birthdays going on, and of course, excuse me, I'm eating chips. Not one of our sponsors. So, okay, I said last week that I was going to be playing pretty much the weekends because during the week I've just got other things I'm trying to get accomplished. So then, of course, this weekend came up and more life got in the way. I had a birthday to go to, and I really didn't want to miss that, so I went to that on Friday night, and then Saturday I had a short work week, and I did get to play a little bit on Saturday. I got Zuzu up to 42, and she's working on Belsavis. I'm trying not to do all of Belsavis again because I've done Belsavis like 50 times, and so I'm trying not to, although I know that if I just run through, I'm going to have a hard time on Alderaan, so I don't know. Anyways, didn't get into any ops, obviously, this week. I didn't get into flashpoints at all. I did a couple of my daily PvPs. That's about it. I didn't run much. I'm trying to think if there's anything really fun that happened. I can't think of anything. So yeah, that was it. I set up a Datacron run for our Party of the Prophecy of the Five, and nobody showed up. So fuck you all. I'm not doing any more. I'm not doing any more events. If you're on, then we'll do something. If not, then so yeah, that's it. I do want to say though, real quick, you can't see it, and the listeners can't see it, but the video guys can see it. I did find our Evie hard mode run. I did record it. I didn't think that I did, but I did. So that's playing up here in the background that we did a couple weeks ago. So that is it, sir. So that gives you plenty of time.
Good God. I'm going to bust my balls here. Well, this week was kind of choppy for me. Running into the beginning of the week, I told you guys last week that I was going to have to reinstall, I was going to install a new hard drive to the computer. But of course, I wanted to make sure I got as much gaming as I possibly could. It got into a story mode. I want to say it was story mode Evie.
Okay.
The one that we consistently roll through. Evie has to be Evie. And it was a really good run. I wish I would have got a few more names down for the people that were in it, because it was a really smooth run overall. We got through just about every boss. I actually had a DC straight off the bat, which I don't know, and all my drivers are updated, so I don't know why it keeps crashing like it does. I'm going to have to check the forums. But right as we got in there, we pulled the turrets, and I disconnected. Oof. Luckily, I was on Rakat, and not Naga. But we got through. We got through it the first. Like I literally got in there probably seconds after we pulled the robot. So I run as fast as I can into the group, and I start blasting away. We tore down everything really quick. It was a really smooth run until we got to the end. We got to Soa, and people were missing jumps. Some were dying and falling through the floor. Some, it was just a combination of bad issues. And when we got to the second tier, everybody thought we were on the floor, so they weren't really paying much attention. So when the floor fell out again, everybody went, "Oh shit!" And there were a couple lucky jokers who had hit a platform right below where we were going to land, so we were able to res them or heal them. Other ones not so lucky. They actually fell straight to the floor. And I don't know if anybody else has noticed the bug. We talked about when we ran KP, how we were able to res, and right where we were.
Right where we were. I didn't like that. Yeah.
Well, it was a bug that didn't work. We should have just wiped the raid and came back and did Soa from the fresh all over again, but we didn't, which was an issue. Not a huge issue, but right. It could have been worse. It could have been better. I actually was able to do it. What we were doing was /stuck, and then when it rezzed us, we said return to where we were. As someone breaks into your house.
Yeah, let me.
Yeah, you go check on that. I'll tell our friends what happened. So I did /stuck because I was inside of one of the prisms, and we were, we did /stuck, and then it was return to where you were. It popped you back up, and you were back to DPSing Soa. And that worked a couple of times until I got mind trapped like the third time. And when I tried to res myself like that, it shipped me back to Belsavis. Well, everyone else was doing back to where you were, and where they were last at was outside the instance. So what ended up happening is they got Soa down at the very end. I mean, we maybe had 2 or 3% left, and half the group was outside. There were 2 people inside, and we were just dumbfounded. We didn't know what we were going to do, and because most of us didn't really need the gear, we were running it for the tokens. After unstucking so many times, it kicked me straight out to Belsavis. So I'm on Belsavis trying to get back to fucking the fleet, and use my fleet pass, and I'm running over. And the last guy who was in there, because after everybody unstucking, there were maybe 2 or 3 in there, one guy actually looted. And I was like, oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me, because he loots.
Did that fuck everything up?
Soa died. The dude looted. No, 2 people that were in the group got credit for the kill, for the finishing of the weekly. That automatically prompts you go and do so in story mode through the group finder. And everybody else is like, okay, so what do we do? The group was just like, you know what, it's too late, I gotta go, and it just quickly disbanded. Luckily, the guy that was in there needed a few pieces of gear that fell off of Soa. It was really frustrating because we were basically abusing a glitch anyway.
Right.
The glitch that returned you right back to where you were to get out of the mine traps. But when so many people are dead, I mean, really, we should have just started like that. I was like, why didn't we just wipe it?
Wipe and start over. Stuck.
We're not in vent together. We're not running any mods. It's story mode, so we're basically raffle stomping our way through it. The only way someone died is if they fell off the edge. There was a tank that DC'd right at the end of the robot boss, and he made it back to us by the time we got to the dude in the lava pit. I can't remember his name at all.
Oh, I don't remember his name.
It's really sad.
Garge, or something like that.
Yeah, but he got over there, and I mean, he wasn't a really well-geared tank. He blatantly told us he didn't know anything, but everybody else in there was so over-geared that we were just dicking around.
Raffle stomping it, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I like that, and I don't. Well, it just pissed me off because none of us were saved to it.
Right.
Like, we didn't get saved to the run, but we also didn't want to have to clear an entire another Evie story mode.
Right.
We'd been there for an hour and a half with everybody, so, that's what I did op-wise. I did some dailies on a few of my characters. I actually did a lot of PvP. And I'm going to share this story with you guys in case you ever have to replace your hard drive. One, saving your game is a pain in the ass because you may or may not have the local files. Every game saves app data files, and it saves local information. So your settings, all your settings, if you're changing a hard drive, go into app data and make sure you save your fucking UI settings.
Right.
Because I didn't, and I spent the better portion of Saturday night trying to fix it so that it was almost exactly the way I had it on the game before I reinstalled it.
Yep.
The problem what had happened was I thought I saved everything I needed to. I saved a copy of Star Wars, I saved a copy of my main programs, and they were all on my external.
Right.
And that was fine, or so I thought. And when I relaunched Star Wars from the save file that I transferred back to my new hard drive, apparently the settings weren't melding right, and I didn't think to check the settings on my video card. I just presumed the game was fucked up. So I said, fuck it, deleted the game, didn't think to save it on the hard drive just in case. I deleted the game, and I re-downloaded it. This led me to 5.5 hours of downloading Star Wars at almost 30 gigs now.
Trying to catch trying to catch up to the current patch. Yep.
And it wasn't like bad. It's just the downloader occasionally froze, which fucked me up. So I spent most of the day playing Modern Warfare. Well, then finally get it installed, and I'm like, oh, thank God. Hopefully this fixes the issue. And there was a video settings issue that I had, and I don't know what I did to correct it, to be honest. But when my game loaded up, and it was just all purples and pinks and magentas and all weird shit colors, and is everything okay at the house there, Lany?
No, I got some fucking noise going on over here. It's weird. It's like somebody's trying to break into my stove.
Oh God! Wow. But I did do the op, of course, and I reinstalled the game on Saturday after playing hours and hours of Modern Warfare 3 on my PC, and I got in and I did some PvP on Pergelium, which is the advanced pyro power tech that I'm running on the as my secondary to my other DPS, which is Rakad at 50. And I was really having fun, and I felt bad because one of our guildies had messaged me, hey, you want to do some low-end PvP? I'm going to jump on Thorax, and we can run. And I was like, okay, well, dude, just give me, I'm in a match, I was in the middle of a match, so I didn't have time to type him back. I was like, yeah, sure, no problem. And he logs in on Thorax, and I'm in there for 15, 20 minutes, and just having fun PvP, and when I get out of the PvP match, I go to whisper, I go to check for the guildie on his ult, and he was gone. So after I got out of that match, I went ahead and sent him in-game mail. I'm like, dude, I was looking for you after the match. Sorry that the first match had taken so long. I'll definitely be there for you if you want to holler at me again. And it was kind of heart-wrenching because I like playing with the guildies. I like playing with my fans.
Yeah.
And it was upsetting to me because he had just asked, hey, you want to run some war zones? And I said, yeah. And then when I got done with the war zone I was in, when he asked, he was gone.
Oh, yeah.
Oh shit. But I did happen to surf around the old fleet and find some guild names of the week. I ran some of them past Lanyard, and we've come up with the two we're going to go with this week. And I want people, for this first one, I want you to keep in mind that I found this on the pub side of our server. The guild is Blood, Bath, and Beyond.
Awesome.
For all your executionary needs. Blood, Bath, and Beyond is one of the guilds I saw, and their dude, I think, was at the auction house at the time, but I thought it was hilarious because Bloodbath, but I thought I'd see that on the Imperial side.
You'd think, right?
And then of course the other one had been a long sent out one from Jubu that I just never got around to reading, which was Space Bar and Grill.
Awesome.
That one, the wife gave a good giggle on, so I figured I'd go ahead and get that one out of there. No LFG losers. Like I said, I had a lot of trouble with installing and uninstalling and reinstalling everything, which kind of shit on most of my week, or most of my weekend, which is normally my downtime. And it was really a lot of me being too retarded. But I did, I ran that op. I ran the op on Tuesday. Got home on Wednesday. Played a little bit on my lobies. Most of it was just PvP. And I just, for some odd reason, I don't know what the hell's wrong lately on our server. I can't get late night flash points to pop on the Imperial side. I was looking before the show. I told Lany this. I logged on to the Imperial fleet on Prophecy of the Five, and I saw like 60 to 70 people there. And I didn't check the map to see if I was on a different shard, or maybe that was the issue. Presumably I was on the secondary shard, but I didn't see a lot of people. Well, then I go over to the Republic side of our server, and there's 206 people on the low section of the Republic fleet. I couldn't even get into the secondary section of that. So to see almost 500 people on the Republic side was dumbfounding. I mean, I've seen the shard. I've seen it sharded up to 5 shards, but I rarely do it at the hour we go to record. And I was just like, oh man, I can't even get to LFG. I gotta go record the show. Because I hate missing prime real estate.
Right.
But the show comes first when it comes to most of this.
As they say, the show goes on.
And fortunately for us, it continues to go on, and our fans seem to receive us very well. We do have a heavy amount of news this week, and I assure you that next week, now that my hard drive is working, I will get much more game time in, and hopefully have better stories than this week's. Because there was really no bad. I didn't get any really bad groups as far as my PvP matches went. It was on Perp Agelium, and I find Perp really funny because she's in the power tech zone, but she's an advanced pyro. So most of the time I'm just spewing goo on everybody and setting them on fire and rocket punching my way through the whole place. Me and I think there was a healer, me and one other guy. We launched at mid during the week during my last match on Alderaan War. Before I went to bed on Saturday or Sunday morning, I should say, and we ran in there, and it was just the 3 of us. And because the healer was so intense, and because the damage is so high still for advanced pyro, I was able to set people on fire nonstop. We ended up fending off, I think, about I'd say 6 to 8 attackers, given that's the whole fucking team. They actually ended up going off to the sides and trying to take out the guys on the sides who were bothering grass, the people that had already taken snow, because they just got tired of fucking with the flamethrowers, which I thought was hilarious. But I do have a large amount of news to make up for my lack of story. So we're gonna go ahead and switch off to Sudo for her newest segment, and I'll let Sudo explain to you what's going on in her world, and enjoy your book.
Hello everyone, this is Sudo, your Galactic Librarian. This week I'm going to finish up Chapter 4 and then start on the second book in the series, The Lost Tribe of the Sith, Skyborn. Seela returned his gaze coldly. Thinking of Devore, thinking of little Jared, she made a quick decision, summoning all her anger, all her hatred, all her will. Seela smiled back. Devore had underestimated Akerson. Whatever came, Seela thought she would not. She would bide her time they had. Alright everyone, that was the end of the first book in the Star Wars Lost Tribe of the Sith. Going to continue on with the second book, Skyborn. Chapter 1. 5,000 years BBY. Heretic. Good to see you too, Mother, Adari said. Did the children behave? The door hadn't fully closed when the smaller child was in Adari's arms, shoved there by Yulin. Adari's older boy bounded into the room, hobbling her. Under attack from 4 purple arms, Adari staggered toward the wall, looking for a spot to drop her non-living cargo. The canvas bag thudded against the wooden floor. Heretic, that's what your uncle says. "They're calling you," Yulin said. He was here, and neighbor Wertram, the tailor, and his wife, too. She never leaves the hut for anything. 8 people have been by today. Well, don't look outside, Adori said. More followed me home. She shooed the gangly older child away and tried to rescue her silvery hair from her toddler's mouth. Short hair wasn't the fashion for Kashari women, but for Adari it was self-defense. Where her youngest was concerned, it'd never be short enough. Is the stew on? Stew? Yulin yanked her little grandson back, only to see Adari dart into the kitchen. Flushed with aggravation, Yulin's skin took on a violet hue that almost matched her daughter's. You're worried about dinner? You don't have any idea what's been going on around here, do you? It's a dinner break. I was working. Working nothing. I know where you were. Adari stared into the clay crock full of boiling meat and vegetables and sighed. Of course your mother knew where she'd been. Everyone did. Adari Vol, collector of rocks and stones, young widow of the valiant Uvak rider on whom so many hopes had rested. Adari Vol, enemy of right and order, absent mother and misleader of other people's children, today had been their 3rd day of testimony before the Neshvatar. It had gone as well as the other 2. What is that sound? They're hitting the house with rocks, Adari said, returning with a steaming bowl of that she set on the table. Standing back, she swung the front door wide and watched as several gifts from the community bounced over the threshold. She slammed the door quickly. A peppery stone under the empty crochet drew her eye. She reached for it with a sinewy, scratched arm. That's a nice one, she said. Not from around here? She was apparently drawing people from all over. She'd have to look around later. Who needed expeditions when you had an angry mob to collect samples? Adari knelt and put the discovery in her pouch, already overflowing with stones of every shape and color. Above the clatter grew louder. The younger child wailed. Yulin's huge dark eyes widened further with horror. Adari, listen, she said. They're hitting the roof now. Alright, everyone, that's the first part of the Chapter 1 in Star Wars The Lost Tribe of the Sith, Book 2, Skyborn. I will pick up next week, continuing with Chapter 1.
Alright, so it looks like we're back from that. And I did get a chance to listen to Sudo's book, and it was kind of funny because she was telling me that she actually launched into a new book because she said she was so intent on reading it that she hadn't realized that some of the stories from the very end of that book bleeds into the new book. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. And if you want to read it for yourself, you're more than welcome to. It's free on iTunes. I believe it's free for Amazon readers as well. If you've got the Kindle or the Nook, you can probably get it off of Barnes & Noble's website as well. And like I said, I got a lot of news this week, so we'll slide on into that. Here's your Galactic News. Look what you missed while you were sleeping. Alright, so the patch wasn't exactly what I'd call huge.
Was there a patch?
Yeah, there was. It was on the 2nd, which would have been, this past week. It was patch 1.4.0b. And of course it was, it was an improvement to the performance for players running dual NVIDIA cards on SLI. And then of course they corrected an issue that could prevent players from exiting their personal starships after completing Group Finder. I hope you guys weren't one of the unlucky bastards that got stuck in your ship, but to be honest, it would be kind of funny to listen to someone freak out. Oh, first I wasn't allowed to check my damn door. I wasn't allowed to check the locks. Now I can't get out of the fucking thing. See, I should have checked the damn locks.
Well, at least your companions are no longer armed.
Yeah. So while you're locked in your ship, they won't mute me because they run out of food, and, well, there's you. As far as community events, it's good to see Bioware still very much behind their product, and EA still very much making sure that people are, coming in and checking it out. It says, today we're very excited to announce that Star Wars: The Old Republic Community Cantina Tour, starting with New York Comic-Con. We're going to embark on a series of Star Wars: The Old Republic Community meet and greets, so fans will get the opportunity to interact with our community team and developers, and maybe see some of the new faces that were brought into the team with some of the more some of the ones that helped launch our game have left. It says before the meet and greet, we'll be sure to publish a blog with detailed information, so you won't miss out on the complimentary food and drinks.
Ooh.
So blue milk to go around. A highly coveted code for an in-game Tauntaun Fawn giveaways and more. Each event will be publishing a meet and greet summary blog, so that those who weren't able to attend can get caught up on relevant information. If you're interested, the next one to come about is going to be on October 11th, just a few days after we post this episode, in New York, at the New York Comic-Con. The venue will be at the Houndstooth Pub, so see, blue milk, between 7 and 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and the address is available on the Darth Hater website. They're going to be doing another one there in Austin, Texas. Then in December, they're going to go to the Wizard World Comic-Con in New Orleans. And in January, they'll be doing one at San Francisco, California.
Which one's that one? That's the only one so far it sounds like I can go to, unless I wait till San Diego next year.
It doesn't say what the venue is, but I'm sure if everybody checks in with Darth Hater or hits up their Facebook site, they'll be able to keep up on that. I was interested to see our buddy Jovith actually interacting with the community again. From time to time, he goes a bit dormant, and he says he wanted to take some time in a recent forum post. He said he wanted to go and take some time to update the community on the status of the top reported game issues in 1.4. Many of you are following the official responses via the dev tracker and our known issues thread, but we want to make sure that there was one central place to have the latest updates on issues below. You will find the most frequently reported issues since Game Update 1.4 and their current statuses. This is not a comprehensive list, but is meant to encompass the most reported since last Game Update. We are aware and are investigating the following issues: general performance issues, weekly mission awards not consistently available, Warzone matches sometimes grant the win to the incorrect team. I wish that would happen to me when I was doing my daily, so I could lose and get my daily done anyway. Some crew missions are currently returning with less materials than intended. Right now I'm doing more crafting materials than anything else, so I wouldn't have noticed that one. I'm not really setting them out for missions to get me materials. I just buy them off the auction house because I'm a lazy bastard. I'm not even lazy. I'm just fucking. I don't want to set them out for those missions.
I'm not doing it anymore.
Right. Well, some of them. The bounty hunter ship cannot be destroyed during the Jintu Kray encounter in the False Emperor. Haven't had that one. I've run a lot of False Emperor lately, so that's kind of fuddling to me. The Galactic Trade Network's searches are not functioning as intended, and strength is missing from the stats filter, which is interesting. I didn't realize you could filter it down.
I didn't know they had a stats filter.
I think strength is like when you type it into the general search bar and you get all your other stuff, like it looks for things with just strength on it. I've never looked for something like that.
Neither have I, because I've never known that they had the option to do that.
Well, I mean, if you type it in at random, I guess. I don't know how the fuck they were doing that one. Yeah. Hide helm option does not function from the social tab. Hide helm for companions does not currently function correctly. Right-clicking player names in chat does not open a context menu, which you and I talked about. Yep. So I'm glad to see that they're looking into that one. Players are able to consume schematics for items they already create, which is interesting because that wasn't they had fixed that issue in 1.3. So some new issues with new programming. Same faction PvP matches sometimes issue incorrect voiceovers, which I have seen.
Really?
Yes, I was looking on my imp, and it was Satil Shan telling us we had to take out the Imperials on the Void Star.
Maybe she's a traitor.
Yeah, this is Satil Shan. It was actually I was confused because I was like, but I'm on Perpigelium.
What?
She's an imp. She's a bounty hunter.
Shut up, bitch! You're not my boss.
Whatever. Yeah.
I'll do what I want.
But he says again, this is a comprehensive list. One thing that's not on the list, and I'm wondering if people haven't started submitting tickets, thinking it may be just them. A lot since 1.4, and literally just this week, I noticed that when you go into a load screen, your UI paints right over the load screen, which I thought was just me. Well, then of course I talked to you, and you said you noticed it. I talked to Kiwi, he noticed it. Of course, I looked at my wife's screen; she's seen it. So there's a bug that they never said anything about, which I would like.
I've only noticed it just started this week too. So it was something in the maybe it was in the 1.4.0.AB.
Yeah.
Subdirective 3 patch that they put in.
Oh man, but let's see. There's a column for PvP on Darth's site, and under the highlights for PvP, of course, it says the dev tracker highlights. Allison Berryman confirms a Void Star bug which is awarding wins prematurely. I want to say I was kind of victim to that. I was in a Void Star, and we only got to the second door, but it never blew, of course, so we couldn't plant the bomb. The defense was they were a decent team. I mean, we're talking low B PvP, so of course it's not a structured group, but we were doing really good keeping the defense up. But for some odd reason, like they had literally gotten a bomb on the door with 4 other people there, which means somebody wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
But they didn't get to the second door any faster, it seemed, because they had to say, they didn't run the clock out, but they got the bomb set right as the clock was running out, and it just kicked for them to, it didn't even explode. So I don't know how the fuck they got access, and we didn't. Being that all they did, they set the bomb, we defused it, they set it again, we defused it, they set it again, the match was over. So that was kind of a weird one for me. And then, of course, it says Allison Berryman confirms that the change to the placement of the console in the last room of Void Star. I don't know if you got a chance to run Void Star. In the old days, all the control panels were right in front of the force fields. Well, the middle force field, or I guess it'd be the second console that you would run into, is now back away from the force field, actually in the middle of the room.
Why?
I don't know why they changed it or what the reasoning was, but they did actually. She's saying that they did actually change it for a reason. What reason? God only knows. I mean, in relevance to where they are, I don't see the purpose of changing that. No one. Very rarely does anyone actually stop at that console anyway.
It's usually the far side one or the very first one.
And yeah, I saw that and I was like, but why is there a console? And who's that guy?
Maybe the people that are doing Void Star, that's their job. They just take care of Void Star, and they're getting bored, so they're moving shit around just for giggles and shits so they can keep their job. But we're in the middle of doing something. You can't give us a pink slip yet. Look, we're working really hard.
Oh, that'd be sad, wouldn't it? Oh, God.
Your shit's done. Get out. But no, we're going to move this console.
And, I always like to check on different polls that Darth Vader runs. And the PvP poll this week was, have you stopped playing a character due to the changes in playstyle? Which, if you PvP a lot, yeah, right, like yourself. If you play on a specific tune, you get used to the way the mechanics work. If they change any of the mechanics, it fucks up everything for you. And oddly enough, 86% of the people said they have not changed. They're still playing the exact same character.
They must be all snipers.
Must be someone who didn't get fucking.
They're all operatives. They didn't get bumped.
Let's see, and it says, what about what about you? How has PvP experience changed since the migrations?
That's pretty cool.
Now, there's not a lot of actual commentary on this particular note, but it says it is significantly better. So 16% of people say it's significantly better. 55% of people say that it's gotten somewhat better. 22 relent to saying there's no changes, and 5% says it's gotten worse. Worse is I wonder how that works out for them, because for me, PvP queues do pop a lot more often. I do see a significantly larger portion of groups dependent on which side of the server I'm on. When I'm on an imp, it seems to be more imp, and when I'm on an imp, it's imp versus imp. When I'm on my pub, it's pub versus imp. I don't see as many, pubs versus pubs, which is kind of weird. I mean, I run so many PvP matches that I get used to. Oh well, it's a Sork. I'll just blah blah. Yeah. It's Sork. It's this guy. It's the same classes all the time. And then the other, then you get in a group and you're like, what the fuck? That's a trooper. Get the fuck away from me.
Right.
Because you never notice until the group changes, which is what screws with me every time.
Well, I was thinking maybe now I don't remember what I was thinking. Oh, maybe. Well, the only thing I could think of, maybe people thinking it's gotten worse, is that they're not running against the same teams they haven't gotten used to, so now there's a bunch of noobs in there. I don't know.
Well, I have heard a lot of complaining about noobs, but really, it's just like everything else. When we used to play WoW all the time, you'd always get the people who were just trying to get their daily done, or what was it? The best part was always PvP during the holiday season, because there'd be some random world holiday deal, and you'd have to have some stupid ass accomplishment in World of Warcraft to get get the PvP goal done, so that you can get this next achievement.
Right.
You can kind of tell when there's a bleed in of people who don't PvP; they're just doing it for the daily comms or the cash.
Yeah.
And it's very minimal for my general playtime. But, you do see it from time to time. Do I think it's gotten the game or the PvP's gotten any worse since the alterations? No. I found a lot more experience and more enjoyable people. You're going to run into your occasional group of asshats. There were like 3 or 4 people that I got queued with, and every so often I get stuck with them, and I'm going, fuck, not these idiots again. But then you turn around, and because it doesn't auto-queue you anymore, you have to go back. It does give you a chance to, reload the tumbler and hopefully get another group or get a better group. And more often than not, I do. I end up in a really good group, and I'm just blowing through shit. And it's interesting to see the breakdown and the difference between 50 PvP and leveling PvP. Because on my bounty hunter, I told you guys, I was putting together a healing set. So I've been trying to get together a PvP healing set for him, and then I've got my DPS set for everything else, so that I can get back into PvP. And I've had a blast, a fucking blast, PvPing with the healing set. The only downside is, of course, the fact that I get blown the hell up, because my gear's not quite as on point as it is for raiding.
Yeah, but I was running with the Tomb Nun, because I was like, I think I'll work with him, and he's my PvP healer. And I had a lot of fun with him. And then I showed up recently, and it's not as fun anymore, because I die so damned fast that it's stupid. I mean, we did end up winning a couple PvP matches, and there was a couple that I finally got into that were fun, but it's just that. And he's a sage healer,
right?
And so his cast, everything he heals nothing's instant, so it's all cast, and of course, I don't know. It's just everything seems to be slow. So by the time I get a heal off, that fucker's dead. So move on,
And I mean, I understand, because I heal on Hot Chocolate and I heal on Naga, and in PvP I heal on Rakat. So it does get a little frustrating, because Rakat, you could rapid shots and occasionally throw an AoE heal in there, and we're golden. shit like that. Where if I'm on Naga, the first thing I do is I run in and drop my puddle, and then I start bubbling people. Well, because hot chocolate doesn't have a bubble, no bubbles allowed.
Right.
At his
stage,
level, of course. Yeah. So I've got my little healing droids or my healing floating Kopo sprayers on everybody, and it was crazy. I was actually impressed with some of the healing he did. We actually held off an attack on one of our nodes, and they came in. I think about half their team came at us. There were only 3 of us at the time, and it seemed like 5, then 6, then 7. And I'm like, why the fuck haven't we taken the other side by now? Because it looks like their team's all here. And it was really crazy. I literally got within to the point that my health bar, my personal health bar, was so fucking low, I didn't know why I was living. I thought it was a lag spike. And another healer finally came over and joined us, and between me and him, we got everybody healed back up. But I kept one of the main guys who had me bubbled healed the entire fight, and I kept running out of energy, but my cooldowns were up, and I was like, yay, look at all the sprayers going. I'm zapping his ass. It was a lot of fun to PvP and heal on him. I didn't think PvP healing on him would be that good. I wanted to go back to the idea of being sneaky damage op, and I haven't relented. I'm still a healer, and I'm having a ton of fun again. Cool. So that made me cool. That made me happy. I still believe that Resolve is fucking trash. They screwed it up. I would have rather had to deal with more Wrecking Ball Marauders than what I'm dealing with now. It may not be a bug to them, but the idea that I can hit, I only get X amount of Resolve, and it seems to completely go down as soon as I respawn. In some cases, it's like I never get a chance to run anything.
Right.
But in other spots, I'm banging it out with no problem. So. I don't know. Moving on a little bit, we're going to touch on the sort of the dark side of the news.
The dark side of the news.
Dun dun dun.
Dun, 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 dun.
But we had 2 more or less recent announcements as far as the people who have departed from Bioware Studios. Specifically, Daniel Akerson has left BioWare, and apparently hadn't started a Twitter account until after leaving. He says his tweet this past week was, "As part of leaving BioWare, I'm officially starting a Twitter account for my job hunt and design thoughts." So, apparently there's no hard feelings there. He left of his own accord just to pursue other issues or interests and avenues. Obviously, didn't have a job lined up, so he's probably got more than enough bank to survive for a minute.
Right.
Unlike the rest of us who consistently get fucked. We lose our job.
Right.
And then, everybody, we want to kind of keep up with some of our heroes from the group that brought us such a game that we all know and love. And Rich Vogel, being one of the developers that had been working on Star Wars and making sure that it got to launch, had previously worked on Galaxies and Ultima Online. He left the company back in July. Mm-hmm. He's actually been picked up by Bethesda Studios. They're opening a new studio in Austin, Texas called Battlecry Studios. And the rumor right now is that he's actually working on the Elder Scrolls MMO. So if you guys were looking forward to playing an MMO in the Elder Scrolls world, our good buddy Vogel will be bringing that out. Now that one's not expected out until 2013, but they're working on it.
Isn't Skyrim Elder Scrolls?
Yes.
That's not an MMO?
It's an RPG.
Oh.
They're doing the MMO version of it. So it'll be interesting to see in 2013 if it's not pushed back a bit. Bethesda is, still somewhat of a independent, so they may be able to get a little bit longer development time on their hands for their enormous title. And then, last but not least, little Alex Freed leaves BioWare. Alex was one of the one of the bigger writers for the show or for the game. He said it says, and now BioWare staff member bites the dust. Alex Freed Lisa Mason of SOTOR Strategies' favorite writer, announced on his Twitter account, yes, he's on Twitter now. Freed, it said, on his feed it says that he is leaving Bioware and joining the ranks of freelance writers. It's kind of a bittersweet announcement, really. While I love freelance writing, I encourage others to do the same, and explore the freedom of being able to work on different projects at once, try new things, and do what you want instead of what you're contracted to do. So as soon as a friend, I'm really happy that for Alex, he's an incredible talent, and I believe he's going to love opportunities that come his way. His tweet for his departure said, "Big news! As of today, I'm departing Bioware to go freelance. It's been a wonderful 6 years, but time to move on." More, and then of course more next tweet. Hashtag SWTOR. And when I read through the article, it was really interesting because every time we worry about writers, the lead writer that story writer that we lost at the very beginning, we were all frustrated. We're all like, "Oh fuck, we've just lost the greatest writers in the game." And oddly enough, Alex said that though he did leave, we've encountered only a small portion of the legacy that he's actually written into the game. So we have a lot more storyline from him to come. And where exactly in the world, we don't know, but we know that it's going to be coming out in future patches. So quite a bit of material under his belt that was written for the show, or for the game.
I wish we had writers.
Oh, God, yeah, that filling all the dead air.
The interns.
You just topless interns, Dave.
Hey, I never thought of that.
All right, so that pretty much wraps up the news for us. We do have a news section from Bru'tis the Loremonger. So we'll go ahead and slide into him, and we'll be back in a couple minutes.
This is Bru'tis, your loremonger. This week and the next several weeks, I'm going to be talking about the major points in the Mandalorian Wars. Even though they don't have a real relevance on the game, they do play some important parts into it, such as how things happen and how it got to this point. But if you read the book Revan, you would know that the Sith Emperor in the game, he has already fled the galaxy and he's already started reestablishing his empire beyond the Outer Rims in the unknown territories. And with that, after about several hundred years later, he started building up and expanding out. And he wanted to weaken the Republic, so he actually sent out a Sith pureblood emissary to the Mandalore. Mandalore the Ultimate was the current leader of the clans, although he did not have a real reputation at that time. When the emissary came to him, he was told by the emissary that the Sith had a vision of his glory and everything else, anything to get him to start a war with the Republic. So he fell for it, and he ended up starting this whole war against the whole Republic at this time. Now, at first, he knew he did not have a lot of support against the Mandalorians because the following war before them, they were massacred and it was pretty bad. So he needed to do some little minor military campaigns in order to gain enough support to start up his own personal war against the Republic so he can be famous and everything. So he started out little minor campaigns, but it really started to get serious at the Battle of Cathar. Now the planet of Cathar was not formally part of the Republic at this time, so the Mandalorians saw it as an easy win, just go in there and raid. Mandalore the Ultimate, he did not personally see to this because he had other plans and he was trying to finance the whole war, so he left it to his second-in-command, Cassus Fett. Now Cassus Fett, he was really ruthless against the Cathar because they stood up against him in the last war, the Great Sith War, and Mandalorians are supposed to be the warrior race. No one can stand against them. The only ones that can stand a chance are the Jedi. But the Cathar were able to hold out very well against the Mandalorians, and that really pissed him off. So he decided on this surprise attack against Cathar that he would wipe them all out. And he invaded. 90% of the whole population was destroyed. The rest of them were just enslaved. This is why you see them as refugees around the Republic or as slaves in the Empire at this time also. As he was sacking the planet and subsequently about to obliterate everything on the whole planet, annihilate it all, one Mandalorian said that there is no need to do this because they were wiped out and there's no honor in it, in destroying a species that is defenseless. So what ended up happening was that Cassius was so enraged by this, he ended up leaving that man on the planet along with everyone else and completely massacred the rest of the population that wasn't enslaved. Now this was the biggest atrocity that the Mandalorians could have done at the time. They almost massacred a whole species, and they didn't take one look back at that. They just said it was their right. They got to do this. Now it wasn't until years later when the Jedi found out about this and they started getting involved. But that'll be in a later episode. But the Mandalorians, they didn't stop there. They started massacring other worlds at the time. Not on that scale of a level, almost annihilating the whole species, but they destroyed so much at this point and people were starting to get worried about this because, I mean, even though it's the Outer Rims and it wasn't really well reported, they did hear reports that Mandalorians or some other force was starting to attack worlds outside of the Republic. And these forces that the Republic had some knowledge of were starting to scare people. Now, these Outer Rim territory planets that were outside of the Republic, to the whole rest of the Republic, it didn't seem like a big deal. They weren't in the Republic, nothing was going to happen. But it wasn't until years later when the Mandalorians actually started invading the Republic that it became a very serious threat. So that is it for the massacre and battle of Cathar. So tune in next week for the next major event that took place during the Mandalorian War.
Alright, and another grand episode from Bru'tis there.
Mandos.
And, yeah, I actually look forward to hearing that one. I didn't get a chance to pull it out of Dropbox, threw it up to you, and got straight to the show. So didn't have a chance to listen to that myself, but I will be listening to that tomorrow.
A little info on the Mandos and a little info on the Cathar.
Always a definite treat. All right, now I wanted to give everybody an update because the show, I was surprised, was actually running fast. Normally I BS about my week more. I wish I wouldn't have been so confounded with my damn hard drive.
Yeah.
But we're at 84 likes on Facebook, guys. 16 more, and we'll be giving away a time card as we fast approach our 50th episode. And it's happening a lot quicker than I ever thought it would have. I wasn't sure if the podcast would pick up. Or
we're not even to 40 yet.
Well, yes, but it's fast. You won't realize it. It's like less than 3 months away, maybe.
Not even.
Exactly. That's my point.
What are we on? What are we on? 36?
No, today is I believe 34.
34. So that's 14 more to go.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 14 weeks.
That's 3 months. Right after, because we'll be actually almost in. Well, it'll be right before our 1 year anniversary, which will be episode 52.
Well, that makes sense. Yeah.
Right about February. Yeah. See, smartass. But being that we're coming up on our 1 year anniversary, we're so damn close. We know 1.4 is on the way, and we know that we'll have
1.4 is already here.
Well, it's
unless
here,
of course you haven't downloaded it yet.
Oh, 1.4 is here, but it's not the free-to-play. It's not everything that they're going to do with the free-to-play section.
Yeah, the 1.5.
And they're not going to call it. Well, I doubt they'll call it 1.5. It'll probably be like at the point we get 1.4.5, we'll start to see some of the additional items because there's still a lot of stuff that was promised at 1.4 that isn't there, and I don't. Really, can you call a couple of pieces of gear really a full patch?
They're gonna slowly introduce TBH or TBF, whatever it's called. FTB. Beads, TBF, TGIF, something.
Well, as we get closer to our 1 year anniversary, I want to make sure we keep pushing the idea of getting on the Facebook, keeping up with what we post, whether it's news from SWTOR Strategies, news from Darth Vader's site, news from Star Wars itself, or just random picks that we run across. All of our listeners are also welcome, if you have some, to go ahead and share your Star Wars videos, you know, on the page. And you know, the more people that get on there and like it, the better the chances we'll have to looking at better giveaways. I would like to do another Audible giveaway. I haven't priced a new holocron, although I may, to send out a Sith holocron. If you're wondering what they look like, Kevin did a short video. It's a really awesome big black holocron. It has a little slide-out drawer. As Lanyard, I thought Lanyard was going to try to find a picture real quick.
Oh, I could. Yeah, go ahead. Keep talking. I'll find one.
But it's a really cool holocron as far as the Sith side goes. It's not as doofy as the Jedi book was, and they are still somewhat available on the internet. It's a rather large black holocron. It glows red when you open the drawer. The book is the Book of the Sith, of course, and it has some cool remnants in it. My wife was reading it for some of the lore sections, but there's notes in it from Luke. There's notes in it from Yoda. I would like to, for our annual, our 1-year anniversary, to go ahead and try to procure one of those to give away to a fan, just for fun, because as a gift for you guys, because that's, you know, what you do. But the easiest way for me to keep track of who I need to send that to, really, is to have you guys on the Facebook page and make sure that that's out and available to you. Now, not a big Star Wars fan, that's okay. Pretty soon I'll be looking at giving away another book from Audible in case you're more into reading. That, you know, whatever your mode of entertainment be. And I honestly can't say enough about Audible. Not only are they a sponsor, but they're also a great source of entertainment for me. I listen to a lot of podcasts. That was one of the things, you know, Kevin and I always talk about what the newest podcast is. But as we get to the 1-year point, I want something, a giveaway that feels more momentous, that feels more SithTalk, that feels more Sith. Since we've been talking a lot about our Republic tunes, we kind of swayed away from our Imperial tunes from here and there.
I'm back on Zuzu, though.
That's true. And I've been playing more on Rakat and Naga Jalokia.
So there's the Datacron box combo thingy. I kind of messed up and got stuff all over the place, but there it is.
But you know, that's something I want to do, and I know a lot of people, and I have to admit, even I at one point considered Facebook to be the devil. But let's face it, all of us thought MySpace was the devil.
It still is.
Well, and now it is because it's burned to ashes. It's still up, unknown reasons, but it's burned nonetheless. But as far as the Facebook page goes, it allows you guys to, you know, contact us, and you can check the page. What I will suggest is, do yourself a favor. Make sure to take it and look at something beyond highlights, because that highlights thing has screwed me up lately. I'm missing posts from friends. I'm missing posts from people on the page and some of our other friends. That's actually what happened that caused an issue with one of the videos that had been posted a while back. It took me almost 2 months to get to the point that I liked it, because I didn't realize that I hadn't the highlights thing is in there, and I completely missed out on it. So I went back and I was like, oh, check stuff from viewers. Okay, now what do I do? You know?
Right. I just found a Naga Jalokia action figure.
It can't be a Naga Jalokia.
It's a Naga Jalokia action figure. I will show everybody that, and then you can check it out.
Oh my God!
Yeah, Naga Jalokia. Wait, which one's? Yeah, Naga Jalokia is the pale chick, right? You're pale.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's.
You what?
What?
You sure it's not Naga Sadao?
No, it's Naga Jalokia.
Oh my God!
It's your character as a action figure.
Well, now I have to see the video because I can't believe it.
I'm going to make you watch the video. I'm going to post it for everybody to see. It's a Sith. Looks like a Sith sorcerer. Well, no, this is probably a marauder, but still, it's
same difference. Right?
There she is, and she looks about as ugly as your tune too. So.
Now, as far as our Twitter goes, My personal Twitter is linked to my Facebook, so just about anything I post, including if I put on SithTalk, will automatically pop up in the Twitter feed for myself or for Lanyard. So if you guys want to keep up on other things that we're posting now, one of our old buddies, Rob Bailiff, he hadn't been in contact quite as much as he had previously. He did go ahead and tweet us, so I wanted to make sure I gave Rob a shout out. He said he likes the story. He said liked all the stories on this week's show. No idea how you guys find so much time to play. I struggle to find any. He said I did have some free time this weekend, so I gained 6 levels on my power tech, and that is now 35. And he says now I'm enjoying it a lot. So it's good to see that Rob actually touched base with us, whether it was through our Facebook or through our Twitter accounts.
Cool.
Like I said, we keep up with everybody and anything, so it's actually, I often joke with people, they go, I don't know how you got so much time on your hands. I work a full-time job and I just can't seem to get it all done. I'll be honest, I have no fucking clue how I keep up the energy to do everything.
Yeah.
And there, you know, a lot of it is like when I go out, I try to make sure. I mean, when I leave my abode for something other than work, I try to make sure I wear my SithTalk shirt because it's a conversation starter from time to time.
Cool.
Mainly because people see the Imperial symbol and then wonder what the SithTalk is all about. They see the Pyromatic site on the back, and it does kind of get people wondering. I should probably just go out and hang out in a few internet bars or. Possibly go over to GameStop just for shits and giggles.
Comic book store?
Dude, there's one comic book store I know of in Alabama, and it's like 3 hours south of me. I can't, I wish.
I got like 5 or 6 here in Portland.
But we want to get to 100 likes. 100 likes is still going to be the gift card. For our annual show, I'm going to do everything I can and try to get a Sith holocron. For that, I really don't want to give up mine. I like mine entirely too much. And when I finally move out of this house, it will be the centerpiece or part of my decorations for my computer room.
Coffee table.
It's too big for a coffee table. I shit you not. It is too big.
Dude.
Stop by Kevin's house. He'll show you the holocron. It's fucking huge.
I don't want to stop by Kevin's house. He does funny things to me.
But I mean, it's huge. I'll have to one of these days. I'll have to pull it up for the video. Pull it out of the closet for the video. But it's huge. It's beautiful. So for the annual show, for the anniversary show, I'm going to try to get one of those together for you guys to give away. That's why I say go to Facebook if you haven't already. Go ahead and like us. Whether Facebook is the devil or not is irrelevant. But that is the easiest way for me to be able to, pull your name from the hat and then, contact you to get your get the information I need to send it off to you. Because I don't know of Amazon or eBay or any other sales source that will allow me to send it to your email because it's fucking huge. But so don't worry, I don't sell information. I don't make money on the podcast, so why would I sell information? Now the other thing, me and Lanyard have gotten the shirts, and we're very proud of our shirts, and I thank Lanyard for getting these for us. But we are looking for a way to get these out, or be able to get them made for considerably less than we're paying right now, so that we can afford to possibly give some away. We have the patterns through the company we currently have, and if you need a detailed picture, I'm sure we've got one that we can throw up on Facebook for you to see. So that you can get an idea. We're looking to get them in enough quantities or sizes so that we can send them out to our fans. So if anybody knows a silk screener, for a small fee. It's not like we're trying to get rich, but at the price of like $28, I think, for my balloon size shirt, it's not feasible for us to say, okay, guys, we'll sell them to you for $35. Because no one really wants to spend that. In our case, in Lanyard's case, I know it's a labor of love. So it's something that we did to help promote our show, and because it really gave us a feeling like we're really taking the strides forward. But if you know someone who can do a really good deal, or maybe a box of SithTalk podcast T-shirts fell off the back of a bus, let us know. We'll be happy to engorge on those items and be able to ship them back out to our fellow listeners. Because it's it's something we'd like to be able to share. 1,000 people a week tune in to either watch or listen to us, and we'd really like to be able to give you something like any other TV show would to promote their product.
It'd be nice too if we had it. I mean, there's so many things that you can put our emblem on, and I would love to be able to put together a like something linked to our SithTalk.com, which would have like a place where you could go and buy merchandise. But in order to do that, we'd have to know that we'd have to know that people are going to want to buy that merchandise. Right. B, we're going to have to be able to find somewhere where we can get the stuff without mortgaging the house to buy 1,600 pens, and then we end up with 1,600 frisbees, or just some weird shit laying around stacked up in the storage room for eons. Now, the shirts are a little expensive. Even if we find someone that silk screens them, it's not going to be $2 a shirt unless they're just crappy shirts. I want to get some type of quality. I don't want to have made in Korea or something. But I would also like to coffee cups are nice, mugs, hoodies, whatever. Nowadays you can put your emblem on anything. It's just a matter of what people want. How much is it going to cost us, so we can keep the price low for you and still be able to, cover our cost and throw a little in for whatever we need to upgrade our show. I'd like to get some better software so that this green screen doesn't look so fucked up. Buy Dad a new chair, something. So, but that's what I would love to see.
Mine is to be able to let you guys, show people that you like the show wherever you are. I mean, I'm dumbfounded when I look at the downloads or the plays. Was it last week? I was going through them, and we had was it something like 100 downloads one day in just Brazil.
Awesome.
And I was like, we're popular in Brazil.
I don't even speak Brazilian.
I don't speak Portuguese either, but I was just dumbfounded that we had that many people downloaded.
I like looking through there because I'm like, wow, look, we got somebody downloading us in Jerusalem.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jerusalem. Awesome.
But the only weird thing about the Podomatic site is they have, and I'll never understand this, they actually have the the national origin of the download by its native spelling.
Right.
So
I don't know what
this. I end up having to Google half of them. So when we get one from Saudi Arabia or we get one from Turkey,
it's written in script, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm always like, what? But it took forever to realize which one was Sweden and which one was Norway, and now when I scroll through, I'm like, oh, okay, I get it, I get it.
I like getting some of those ones that I didn't even know was a country. And since I didn't even know that it was a country, why are
they have
the hell's yeah, right? It's like, wow. Cool.
But now that everything's installed this week, I got to re-download Fraps, and then I'll be able to do some videos.
Right. You want
I got to re-download XSplit. Well, I do like Overwolf. It is a good program, but I can't remember what it renders in, and if it doesn't render in the right video, I don't have the same programs you do to render. So I kind of ass out on that.
It renders in. You can set it up for whatever you want to render it in, but it's what I'm using for the video on here. I just pop it right in. It goes right up to YouTube real easily. So I mean, it's pretty easy, and it works straight into Windows Media. There goes my green screen.
Windows Movie Maker.
The Movie Maker. It just takes a few seconds for it to change it to Media Maker or whatever it's called, and it works just fine. So I like Overwolf that, and they're also working on, get this, they're also working on a calendar. They haven't got it up yet because you can add apps to it, right? If anybody of you don't know Overwolf, you can add apps to it to do different things to play overlapping your games. They're actually working on a calendar that will be something that if you and your buddies play, and you can set the calendar up, and as long as they have the same app and it's linked to everybody's app, linked to the main calendar, you can put up like, okay, Tuesday at 8 o'clock we're doing a raid on Game X and Game B. they're still working on it, but that's what I like about Overworld, because I think that's a great idea. And I'm gonna have to turn the screen off because it is completely fucking up.
But that's one other thing. You know, Lanyard is trying to set up events with so many of you guys out there. What I'd love to do is find out who's on what servers. You know, if you're a fan of the show on the Facebook site, or you know, you're in game. Most of you guys know Rakat, R-A'_KOT. You can send to me in-game mail. That way we can add you to friends. Obviously, a lot of the people who are on our friends list are quickly becoming members of either the Imperial Guild or the Republic Guild. Now, one thing I will advise you, and I say this every week, and a lot of our guild mates are fans of the podcast. Some of them are just old friends. One, if you don't have Ventrilo, go ahead and get it.
Please.
Two, if you get it, whether you have a mic, we don't have to hear you. We don't necessarily have to hear you. If you have a shitty mic, or you have a headset, or if you have a mic and you're not worried about your mom going, "Who's that cussing in bed?" Who are you talking to? Have a mic and have a headset. If you don't have a headset, no big deal. Just move your mic the fuck away from your speakers,
or the dogs,
so you don't end up or reverb. Quit talking about Larry. Leave my nephew out of this. But get it. Get Invent. Bru'tis has learned that if you're a consistent talker, you talk to us frequently, you communicate with us frequently, you can get in our event without being in our guild. If you are in our guilds or want to be in our guilds, so that you know that we're actually on.
Right.
That being the big portion, actually on. Make sure you jump in vent, because sometimes we're on the imp side, sometimes we're on the pub side. It just depends on what mood swings us.
Yeah. Sometimes we're just in vent and playing a different game because we were take a break, or
we're re-downloading Star Wars.
Yeah, or we might be. Well, shit, we've even sat and watched TV events in vent. Just bullshit.
Oh yeah, like the fucking Mars landing.
Yeah, we watched the Mars landing together, which was a lot of
fun. There were like 4 of us in there watching the NASA stream from their Twitch site or whatever it was.
Ustream.
And was it Ustream? Yeah. And we were all just watching the lunar landing.
Yeah, that was fun.
And, like on one screen I was running the lunar landing and we had vent going, and on the other screen I was playing Star Wars, and I was just dumbfounded by watching everything. I mean, Ventrilo is just like TeamSpeak if you use it. Mm-hmm. I know there's another program I'm forgetting, Mumble. A lot of people are using Mumble servers. They're all the identical thing. Some people just do it over Skype. Yeah. It's a voice over IP program. Allows you to talk to us. Allows you to find out where the fuck we are when you don't see us in game.
Right.
One of our listeners and a guild mate on the Republic side, Jubu, he plays a lot. I think I saw him. He's level 32 now, but because he doesn't get invent, he's kind of just playing by himself. And I felt bad. I logged in on the Republic side to check a few things, and he's like, "Hey, how you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, hi. I gotta go record the show."
Yeah, if you get into vent, you can catch us. And like I said, if you're on the pub side and we happen to be all on Sith side, and you're like, "Oh man, this guy's really fucking kicking my ass," just say, "Hey." We'll say, "Hey, you want some help?" We don't mind. Let me get to a safe spot, log off, and we'll come help you real quick, because we've got characters on both sides we can play. So yeah, get into vent, man. It's so much more fun. And I personally I don't even pay attention to chat. So you can be saying, "Hey, how are you?" and I won't even see it go by, because if you're not in vent, I don't know. So
yeah, we've had quite a few people get mad at us because when you're in the heat of PvP or you're in the middle of a raid, you're not necessarily paying attention to guild chat all the time.
Right.
And in some cases, I know in the past that I've had buddies who have pretty much turned off their chat because it's all about what's going on in their ears or in their right in front of them. And when you're paying attention to so much other shit, you're not gonna you're not always gonna know this.
And besides, if you don't have vent, you can't hear Dat go off on his rants during PvP.
Or you go off on your rants while trying to find a datacron. And I don't think Bru'tis or any of the others who have joined this event would have truly grasped what I meant by his and you're losing his shit event. Had they not been there for that one,
Oh.
Bru'tis and Kiwi were laughing hysterically over that shit.
Just forewarn though, when you do get an event, that we tend to kind of pick on each other a little bit, and so we tend to get a little crass, crude, and disgusting once in a while. That I don't, but the rest of you guys, can go a little off topic once in a while. So just if you're worried about your virgin ears, just be warned.
Just grab a Q-tip and a finger cut.
Just drop it into vent, say hi. I'm going to step out for a minute.
But, we want to thank you guys again for supporting us.
Absolutely.
If you'd like to, really show your support and beyond the basic download or the review, you are welcome to either check out some of our, some of the sponsors via our Podomatic site. You're also welcome to hit the PayPal, hit the donate button on our Podomatic site and donate directly through PayPal if you choose to. Not an obligation. Once again, still been doing this with nothing more than the admiration of fandom for almost a full year. And come February February 2013, assuming, as Kevin said, that we survived December 21st, 2012. In February, we'll be celebrating our 1-year anniversary, and we have been doing this for you guys. And for ourselves, really, we like to share the stories that we have each week when we do have stories. Unfortunately, I'd like to apologize. My stories were about a shitty hard drive and me not understanding what was wrong with my graphics card. Lanyard's story was about going to the birthday party. So, guys, we welcome any criticism as always. But if you feel like you've gotten more than your money's worth out of us, feel free to visit our sponsors. We've got Uvu, Wild Tangent Games, or Wild Tangent Games. There's the Green Geeks, which we haven't been real interactive with. Green Geeks web hosting, and of course, we've got our Audible sponsor, which is our big boy sponsor, of course. Uvu is cool because it's what we use to record the video. You can do up to 12 people in a single video call at no charge, or you can buy minutes and do all kinds of extra shit, which we haven't had to. We've been recording the show with Uvu for about half a year now and have had no issues. Occasionally it fubs up. More than likely, most of the time our fub ups come from either our video recording or Pamela being a bitch. Obviously Uvu, very responsible program to pick up for video chat. And if you need something or want something that's completely different than maybe just regular Skype, and you don't want to buy the premium Skype so that you can voice chat, always a great sponsor. Other than that, guys, I want to thank you again, and we'll see you in the pit.
Thank you again for joining us here on Sith Talk. Lanyard and Dadakar look forward to talking with you next week. Remember to follow us on Twitter at SithTalk, or stop by our Facebook page at facebook.com/SithTalk. And of course, our Gmail is SithTalk@gmail.com. This music brought to you by freeplay.com. And remember, peace is a lie. There is only passion. Through passion I gain strength. Through strength I gain power. Through power I gain victory. Through victory my chains are broken. The Force shall free me.